And, you mentioned the cousin or the sister or the stepsister or whoever it is, anxiety. Anxiety manifests for a lot of people in a very similar way. Again, I'm not an expert, but it can look like ADHD. How do you know the difference?
Well, that's the clinician's job to know, right? The clinician's job is to really get to the bottom of that. The problem is that a lot of clinicians are misdiagnosing, especially women with anxiety, when actually the root cause is ADHD. And that can be really tricky.
Welcome back to the Grown-Ass Woman's Guide. I'm Jackie MacDougall. That question, is it ADHD or anxiety, comes up a lot, especially when women are constantly being told we put too much on our plate, we're stressed or overwhelmed, or we're doing too much. In this final episode of this series, Kristen Carder and I dive into what ADHD looks like when it overlaps with anxiety, shame, overstimulation, and the pressure to keep it all together. Do not mistake this episode for medical advice. It is about understanding yourself better, asking better questions, and finding support that fits your life. Let's keep going.
I don't necessarily fault them because I know enough to know that it is really hard to tease apart. But I would say that if you are being treated for anxiety and you are still majorly struggling, it's probably not the whole picture. And a lot of women who were misdiagnosed with anxiety and or depression, who were then treated for the true underlying cause, which was ADHD, no longer needed the anxiety medication or the depression medication because those issues were solved by treating the root cause of ADHD. So I think this goes back to make sure that you are working with a clinician who listens to you, who understands you, who sees you, who doesn't dismiss you. If you go to them and you say, listen, I think that there is more here. Can we look at ADHD as a possible issue? And they're like, oh my gosh, everybody's ADHD. Oh, I don't know why TikTok is making everybody come and talk about ADHD. And it's like, go find somebody else. Don't give them your money. Don't give anybody who treats you that way your money, right? So make sure, and it doesn't mean that you necessarily have ADHD, but at least work with someone who is listening to you and giving you the space that you need to express what's going on.
Absolutely. And I have found that ADHD can lead to anxiety because you forgot your purse, you missed something somebody said and you're embarrassed and you don't want to say, can you repeat that? Or, a variety of other reasons, overspending, as you were talking about before, or overeating. I've seen recently that can be connected to ADHD. I mean, there's so much. So it creates this shame. I mean, it really, I feel like, and you could speak to it better, but stems from shame.
Yes. Yes. And think about navigating the world with untreated ADHD. I mean, you did it for how long? Almost 4 decades?
Yep.
That's a long time trying to keep it together and always feeling like you are just teetering on this tightrope of just too much and not enough. I'm always just too much and I'm also not enough at the same time. And I don't know how that's possible. But that was my life, right? It is just
I need to sit with that for a second because no statement has been ever more accurate than that.
It's tough. So that, of course, is anxiety inducing. And of course, again, the messages that you receive when you don't have an accurate label are often very shameful messages, right? But when you have that accurate label of, okay, I'm just a human and I'm a good person, and I have ADHD and I can fit pretty much everything that I hate about myself into that umbrella. I'm constantly late. I'm constantly interrupting. I've never remembered my best friend's birthday. I yell at my kids impulsively. Like, not that I'm excused for any of that behavior. I'm not. It's something that I'm constantly working on, spending money on, spending my time on, right? But at least it's put in the label that it deserves, where it belongs, instead of you're just whatever, fill in the blank. You should be embarrassed. You're not enough. You're too much. You're too sensitive. You're too talkative. You're too impulsive. It's just like, oh.
Yes. So, we talk about online and TikTok, and I mean, there's just like, we're never bored anymore, or we don't have to be. I personally had to take Facebook and Threads. Those two, I don't have TikTok anymore. Like, I just took them off my phone because it's like, I'll be watching TV just automatically. It's too much, but I'm not alone. And I think there are a lot of people who are not diagnosed ADHD who also struggle with this. So how do you know the difference there? And like, do you have a tip for people who find themselves glued to their phones all the time?
I think that we can feel it in our bodies when we know we've had too much. There's a big difference between the cozy, fun hour on, for me, it's Instagram Reels that I just scroll. It's the end of the day and I've done all my things and I'm in my cozy PJs and my bra is long gone, right? It's just like, no bra anymore.
Yeah.
This is the best.
Well, that's the second I get in the house. So I don't know. You're lucky I have one on now.
Right? Okay. There's a big difference between that and the self-medicating, self-numbing feeling of, I can't put my phone down because if I do, I'm going to have to engage with my real life and my real life is hard and I don't really know what to do with it. So I'm just using social media as a self-numbing. And I think the difference there is often either the net outcome. Am I getting a net positive or a net negative? When I put my phone down, am I just like, oh, it was fun. Okay, let's move on. Or am I like, shit, I just lost 8 hours of my life and I don't know where my kids are. And I don't like, we haven't eaten in 7 days. And like, I don't know what is happening in life, right? There's a big difference there. So I think like, it sounds like you've set healthy limits for yourself and that's awesome. I use this little thing called a brick.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I've been looking into that. Mm-hmm.
I love using the brick because it is a limit that I impose on myself. And I think it's really healthy. I tell my kids all the time, like, I set limits for you so that you will know how to set limits for yourself when you're an adult. But for like those of us who struggle with limits and with overconsumption, right? So a lot of us with ADHD have these kind of addictive personalities. And so we're in need of something. And so I want to say this could be an indicator that you're self-medicating. Like, would you rather just medicate than self-medicate? Right? Because self-medicating looks like overeating, over porning, over alcohol, like over drinking. I'm like, why can't I think of words?
Over alcoholing.
Right? Over alcoholing. Which I mean, these are all things like that we struggle with. And so like over social media use, like over. When it is too much, we have to look to what's the need here that I'm meeting with my phone that I'm not meeting with like a healthy tool. Like, what is a healthier tool that I can use here to meet this need?
Yeah. Amazing. Whether you have it or not, there's so much coming at you that there's so much shame. Like, I'm not doing it. And so do you find that with a lot of women, like that shame, right? Of I'm the only one not doing this. And what would you say to someone listening who feels that way?
Oh, honey. Yes, yes, yes. And 1,000 times more. Yes. That shame for women is so pervasive. And I think that we feel like we are carrying around a dumpster fire. Like if people only knew, like, yeah, I'm thriving at work, but if they only knew what it took for me to do this, or if they only knew what my home life was like, or if they only knew what my car looked like. I remember being so embarrassed about just like my car was always so disgusting, like being able to keep a clean car. And so I think that unraveling the shame is a very important process. And that is one of the biggest themes that we work on as people who support ADHDers, because shame will always lead you to hide, and avoid and procrastinate. Always.
I used to use procrastination as like a badge of, like a badge of humor, I'll say. And I think ADHD can sometimes be a punchline. People think it's funny, like, oh, I have ADHD. We all believe that there's an expert out there who can, if only I follow this person, if only I give money to this person. And like, I'm not talking about a coach who actually works with you. I'm talking about all the books, right? The self-help books, the planners, the tools, like the brick that you mentioned, amazing tool if you use it. Right?
That's the thing with people with ADHD is we think that the solution is outside of ourselves.
Yes.
And I just am here to remind you that the system is not the solution.
Mm-hmm.
There is no perfect system that is going to get rid of your ADHD. There is no perfect system that is going to help you feel whole. That is an inside job. That's inside of us, right? And so figuring that out, probably working with a professional, is what is going to allow you to drop the shame. And shame lives in the darkness and it wants to keep everything in secret. And so part of it is being a part of a community, whether that's a group of friends or group therapy or a group coaching program, where we can bring these things to light, where you can just like, in my community, we're on Slack for our like community because I didn't want to do it on social media because obviously. And when people just scroll through and kind of lurk and they're like, oh my gosh, like I thought I was the only one. And that goes to what you were saying. Like we think we're the only ones who struggle. We think we're the only ones who don't have our shit together. We think we're the only ones. We're not the only ones. We're not the only ones. There is no like mountaintop experience where we just get to like self-actualize and everybody is perfect and everything is like wonderful. We are all just humans scraping our way through life, like trying to make a way for ourselves. There is no mountaintop that you get to. It's just about everyday practicing self-compassion, self-acceptance, and giving yourself the support that you need to be able to thrive, whatever that might look like for you.
Being a grown-ass woman sounds very similar to being an ADHD woman. And that's probably by design because, meaning what you say and saying what you mean and asking for what you need and communicating and setting boundaries and all of those things are extremely important. Like if you ask me on Monday if I want to hang out on Friday night, that sounds fantastic on Monday. But on Friday, I would rather like stick needles in my eyes. And it's not you. It's not you. I want to spend time with you. Like I've discovered for myself that going for walks with girlfriends is much more interesting to me because we can talk and we can move.
Oh, I wish we were neighbors. I would go for a walk with you in a heartbeat.
Right? It's just so rewarding. It's just that movement and just that ability to talk and not just sit there. And I don't drink anymore, which, we could have a whole conversation about ADHD drinking,
100%.
which, and does that look like alcoholism and blah, 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 all of that. So I want to throw like kind of like a rapid fire, a couple of things that I do to help myself. Some of my personal coping mechanisms, tips, whatever, is I have coined this thing. It's called productive procrastination. And I have a list of tasks like, there's folding laundry and there's preparing for taxes and things like that, maybe I don't want to do. But when I have a work deadline, those are my favorite things to do. And so I have that list available to me at any time because if I'm on a deadline and it's just too much and I'm like, it's overwhelming and I just can't get into the writing or whatever it is, I have these other things. And I've discovered that moving my body, even at folding laundry, will allow me then to come back to the work and get that done after. So that's what I've coined productive procrastination. Are you approving of this?
Absolutely. There's actually a clinical term for it. Did you know this?
No.
It's, I love your term. I think you should trademark it. It is called procrastivity.
Oh, okay.
And it is from Dr. Russell Ramsey in his book, Rethinking Adult ADHD. And he coined the term procrastivity to say exactly that. Like,
oh, interesting.
Procrastivity is the merging of procrastination and productivity. Mm-hmm. Where you are procrastinating on the most important thing, but you're being productive on the lesser important things. It's perfect.
Right.
Yes. Clinically approved.
Okay. Excellent. I also try to follow the energy now. So I know when I feel best. And if I try to, like, I have a friend who was telling me it was 10 o'clock at night and she was just trying to force her work to happen. She's like, I've been doing this for so many hours. Like, if I hit that wall, I'm done. We're not working anymore. So after my coffee and after my workout in the morning, I feel my best. So if there are things that I don't want to do or that are hard to do, that's when I schedule them in the day. Approve or disapprove?
Approved. 100%.
Excellent. And then I give myself so much time, as we talked about, and lots of reminders with alarms, and my family calendar is everything. It's color coded. And so it's interesting because I think I've taught them too that communication, and communication, I mean by putting something on the calendar, communication and setting that up, and expectations in other people and like what you need, I think saves me from so much stress. So we share cars in this family, but if it's not on the calendar, then you have not communicated. I don't even care if you verbally communicate it. It must be on the calendar so people can, we all have our stuff, right? So we can look at it. So approve?
Approved. Stamp of approval.
And so if someone's tuning in now, what would be your, like, I know you probably have so many tips, but what would be your number one?
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Why is this the hardest question for me? That is a lot of pressure. My number one is allowing myself to ebb and flow with my capacity. As somebody with ADHD, my capacity is not 100% every single day. And I no longer hold myself to a robotic neurotypical standard of having the same amount of output every single day. So my productivity goes by the clock, not by what I've accomplished. So if it is 4:00, I'm done with work. It does not matter, because if I wasn't able to get it done today, it was a lower capacity day. That just is what it is. But I'm not going to borrow from tomorrow's capacity by forcing myself to overwork. So when 4:00 hits, it's second shift, as you know, as a mom, right? So I have 3 kids and we're running all over the place.
Yep.
So 4:00 comes, it's second shift, work is done no matter what. I'm going to ebb and flow. I'm going to allow my days to ebb and flow within my capacity so that I'm not in the burnout cycle, which is like, have a wave of motivation, go so hard, overwork because it feels so good because I've got the motivation, go into capacity debt and not have anything for the next 3 days because I spent it all on the one day. So I think that for me has been the most impactful.
Yes, that's so good. And finally, the listener, the multi-hyphenate, right? I am one, I'm guessing you might be. How did you go into this work and keep it, like, stay focused with this particular work for so many years at this point? Like, you have ADHD and you're still doing this podcast regularly, coaching women regularly. How did you not blow up your life and start something different?
Oh, that is such a good question. Here's the way that I look at it. And this is what I teach my clients as well. I don't cheat on my dreams with one night stand ideas.
Ooh.
I don't do it. So I'm in a very happy monogamous marriage. And I know how good I have it. I've got it good. My man is fine. I'm not going to ruin that, right? By cheating on him with somebody who is also fine, right? And I am the same way with my dreams. My goal is to help as many people with ADHD as possible. I know how good I have it in this job. I do. I just feel so privileged and so honored to be able to work with so many people all over the world. So I'm not going to cheat on my dreams with a one night stand good idea. Have good ideas come across my path? Yes. Do I get asked to do a lot? I'm so grateful. I do. I get asked to do a lot. I say no to everything because I know my purpose. I know that like what I am doing works. And until there is like an epiphany and a very clear transition I'm just going to stay the course because I really do know how good I have it. I just love doing what I do.
If you take nothing else from this series, take this. Whether you have ADHD or not, you are not broken and you don't need fixing. What you need is understanding, compassion, and the support to help you work with your unique brain. If you want to go deeper with Kristen, you'll find all the links to her podcast, Instagram, and website in the show notes. And if this series has helped you feel more seen, less ashamed, and just a little bit more grown-ass in how you take care of yourself, yes, that was the point. Thanks for being here. I'm Jackie MacDougall, and this is the Grown-Ass Woman's Guide. Until next time, remember, you are a grown-ass woman. Act accordingly.